is going on out there in the realm? Realm Hat coming at you tonight, ready to go, raring, firing on all cylinders. We are down one member tonight, so Wolfie is off visiting his friends in Wolf Nation in an undisclosed location.
He's at the Redhead Festival in Ireland, remember?
I didn't want to give it out. I didn't want to give it out. So, but yeah, so it's the three of us tonight. We're gonna be coming at you with some stuff that we hope that gets you in, get you talking, and we're gonna go from there. So, starting it off, E, how you doing, buddy?
All right, just another week. Yeah, no, feeling better from last week, and yeah, no, ain't got much to say. Ain't nothing happened this week.
Cool.
Exciting.
Yeah, nothing exciting, but nothing exciting this week at all.
Gort, lay it on us.
I just been bouncing around with a bit of a cold. Got to build a Gundam today. Uh, it was a Space Leo. It was a fun little kit. Uh, yeah, but not an exciting work week. Not much else exciting, I suppose either. Last weekend I got to watch uh, friends' dogs, so it was kind of nice. Even if one of them liked to bite me a whole lot, uh, having the dogs running around in the house, they were terrorizing my cats. That was kind of funny. Had to build a barricade to give the cats their safe space in the kitchen. Um,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. The one dog, that dog hated me. I could not get near that dog. And but the other one, that dog immediately. That's my buddy. Like it was, yeah, it was a good time.
It's funny how dogs' personalities can do that. They're an animal, but yeah.
Yeah, well, when Audrey had brought them to the house, I came inside after work the one day, and the one dog runs up, hello, and the other one immediate barking, biting, growling, all of the above.
Sounds like a good
Nice.
time.
Yeah, yeah, my one finger is still healing up. Got me pretty good, like right in between, right in the fingernail groove there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, he'd have been outside.
Yeah, we watch our neighbor's dog whenever we go over. The dog just gets so excited to see us. So good times there, buddy. Well, excellent. Glad you got some visitors. Sorry you got injured, but
Yeah,
it was for a good cause.
yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So, yeah. So basically, same my week. I've just been working. I didn't have as many games to work this week, so I was able to get to the gym some, do some of that. Go on, E. What you giggling about?
Nothing at all.
So, I got in some stuff. I have yet to have a chance to sit down with it. I got in the new age figure that shall not be mentioned or shown. And I got in the Magic Square, Luan, or is it CN Culture train bots. I've taken them out, fiddled with them a little bit. They don't feel like it feels similar to the Magic Square stuff, but not as gummy as pliable. But they got some weight to them, so it's the two leg bots for the trains, and I like them so far. I've taken them out and fiddled with them a little bit, put them back. I haven't transformed them yet. I'm gonna hopefully do that this weekend. So, you know, played my D&D campaign. My character reached level 20. Pretty excited about that.
Ooh.
I know, right? Big things, big things happening here. So, yeah. So I guess has anyone else got anything good for the cause? Yeah, I know. I don't know what to tell you. E. I'm sorry.
So as you, in case anybody's wondering, as we said, Wolf was out and Joe's hosting tonight. So my plan is not to make it as easy for him at all.
I think were you here the?
Brilliant.
So I guess this is my second time. Were you here the first time?
No,
Okay. I don't know how that played out because I know obviously Wolfie was gone, but we'll do what we can. So we'll start out with some of the topics we came up with. Hopefully, get you in here and see what y'all's thoughts are on them as well. But does size matter? Coming up with the oversized toy stuff, the big thing hitting right now is we're starting to see some shit come out and some reviews of this 4 foot tall Metroplex for Lewin Resources. So, where is this sitting? Where do you all think? Where is it going?
I'm
You
gonna
know,
interrupt you real quick.
you go ahead. You don't have to.
If you have time to sit there and watch the show, you have time to get your ass in here.
Does Ireland
Continue.
have sufficient Wi-Fi? Does the Leprechaun Festival provide that?
Don't make me start sharing pictures of you at the festival. You know I have them.
He's
So
yelling at us.
I'll tell you what, the big Metroplex, I think that thing is ridiculous.
Mm,
I think proportionately, the cost you're paying for that against the last Superion that came out, though, at least you're getting more.
yeah,
That's nice that maybe your dollar is potentially better spent, but apparently it can't. You tell me more here. It can't stand up on its own in robot mode, or you should not leave it displayed in robot mode, rather.
yeah, that's the thing.
That's what's been said. Like not for too long. And um, I know we all saw the videos and the pictures, and I guess it makes kind of sense with how big that is, leaving it standing in the weight on the joints and the ratchets, and I don't know. I get it. You want to, us being collectors, we like having that scale correct most of the time. You'll never honestly get a honest scaled Metroplex for your collection. It is literally the size of a city. But that being said, this is probably the best you're ever gonna get
I
in
mean,
scale wise. I mean, I've saw those pictures with him surrounded by all the legend scale bots, and if I had the space, I don't know if I could turn it down if I had the space.
Yeah. So yeah, Dante, pull up Dante's thing there
You
if
mean
you would.
Esteban?
Yeah, it's visual. I know who it is. Thank you. So with that right there, yeah, Scott mentioned that he was going to make a metal frame for his or whatever. I don't think that's a bad. I mean, obviously it's a good idea, but I also don't think it's necessarily horribly unreasonable either. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I mean, I don't have kids in my home, but even with my 2 cats and the dog, and to a lesser degree, me and my wife just kind of going about the house, like I'd be a little concerned knocking that thing over. That is a pretty significant investment and a pretty good size. I mean, if that thing falls, something's probably coming off of it from that height.
when he says a metal frame to help it stand, he means like an internal frame or a
No, no, no. I
stand
think
for it.
So you know how? All right, I never owned a hot toy, right? But I'll use Mondo for example. Mondo, they have those stands for the figures that actually go not around the waist, but they hold it up from in between the
Hmm.
legs. I think that's what Scott is trying to get accomplished, like to build something that'll hold it up in between its legs to
Maybe, but
ease the pressure
that
and the
might be the
weight
leg
on the
pressure.
joints.
But would the arms and other parts not need something to support them as well? You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know. From what and I could be wrong because I'm not in it. I'm not buying this, but from what I heard, it's mostly the issue that they're worried about are those waist ratchets
mhm,
Okay.
holding up the bot.
yeah.
So if you can get some kind of stand to hold it up from the middle,
Yeah.
it might be able to help.
I think it's funny that when Hasbro put out that big Metroplex, it was 2 feet tall. It was pretty nice. It had floppy legs, and everybody hated on it. And now people want to go spend $1,200 for the exact same product with the same exact issue.
Yeah. I mean, let's break this down a little bit. I mean, let's just start with the price. $1,200.
Yep.
$1,200 for this. I think that's very reasonable for what you're getting. I mean, considering like we talked about that, you brought up that the fans toys combiners. Like, yeah, it looks like a good set, But I just can't. I have a hard time justifying the price for that much. But for this, I mean, you look at what you're getting versus what you're paying for both.
You could furnish a house
Mm.
for the same money.
Yeah, but not not
Not
not to
with nice furniture, mind you, but
not to be a defender here, but when you look at you're getting you're getting the bots and the engineering that goes into making these combiners for fan toys. Uh, I think they're hard to compare price and what you're getting for. I mean, I problem with fan toy. I mean, not to get off topic too long, but it took them too long to get that combiner out. Because when they first started, remember the prices were a little cheaper,
Hmm.
and then we had that long hiatus, and then everything just skyrocketed from there to get it done. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
I
I
just
get
think they're
that.
hard to compare, but
No, I
still a
get it.
big
I get it. And I'm not
fucking
and I'm not
massive.
trying to say one is better than the other. I'm just saying if you just look at just if you took them both side by side and you said these are the same price, I think the average person would have a hard time wrapping their head around that concept.
hmm
Yeah, no,
You know,
definitely.
because I get there's a lot more engineering that goes into those tiny little figures that you got to move a lot more than you do with this Metroplex.
yeah,
I get that. And this is just parts build, not so much what's the word I'm looking for here? Complications or difficulty from the adding everything in, and this has got to flip there, and that's got to move here, and things like that, like you do with a masterpiece size figure.
Yeah, I want to hear from someone I know when they get theirs, because I know a couple people have now ordered them. Just to hear more about it.
Yeah. And I
But
saw something earlier where some of them are getting pushed back to June of this year, so it might be a hot minute.
yeah, I mean, look, getting back to size in general, like we're seeing over the last couple years now, kind of like an explosion in the toy marketplace of these larger scaled
Hmm.
toys in general, not just Transformers. You got companies doing 112 scale vehicles now. HasLab Ecto One, the GI Joe vehicles, the uh,
Balaverse,
Valaverse and his vehicles. Ramen's making 112 scale vehicles also. Super
maybe.
7 with the Cat Slayer. Like at some point, I don't know. I think that bubble's got to pop. Like,
Yeah.
who has room for all of this? I mean, look, I don't have room for it all. I mean, I got that Dragonfly in that his tank, and I'm already like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like as you're talking, I'm looking above your head, and it is one of these things. Like at some point, we as collectors are going to run out of space, you know, and then it's going to be. I think at that point you run the risk of not necessarily market oversaturation, but like, all right, now I've got to decide: am I purchasing this? And if I do, what am I getting rid of, or what is going into storage? Or it's going to have those people of like, well, I've got what I got. I don't have the space for any more of this stuff, so I'm just not going to buy anymore. So then the
E-
sales go
Uh,
down, and then it's going to turn into, well, this isn't something anyone wants anymore. So then you got to look at, is this going to affect them making these things?
can you do me a favor, quick? Can you just sit up? Yeah, just sit up a little more. More, sit up taller.
Look, the man's standing up. What more do you
No,
want?
yeah, lean in more, lean in more. All right, now move to your left a little bit. All right, lift your head a little. Like move your body up a little. I'm trying to give you a propeller hat.
I thought when you started, I was like, what is he doing? Like he's trying to get something in frame back there or whatever. I'm surprised he
But
went
then
with
you
the movie.
have the Vamp above that. That's a 3D printed Snowcat from 3D Printing Forge for 1/6 scale. Super 7 has done a Castle Grayskull. I mean, they did that. I mean, no, Matty collected the Castle Grayskull years ago. For classics, Super 7 did the Snake Mountain, which is 36 inches tall, 38 inches tall, something like that. So, this influx of these large items and play sets. I mean, Mattel just did the Eternia playset. You know, came out last year, I think, right? Well, yeah,
Yep.
definitely last year's on January. So, and it seems like it's not stopping. There'll be another GI Joe HasLab this year. Uh, the Ghost, you had to look. Did you see the size of the Ghost? And that was
Yeah,
for a
I
three
didn't
three
realize that thing
quarter
was
inch
that big.
figure. Like it's like companies are not afraid to make these big things now, and they're using these avenues like crowd funds and uh, site exclusives to do it. And I just don't know how much they can keep going.
No, but I also don't think that's the bad way to go because you're not going to sell that stuff at mass retail. You
Well,
know.
don't. Let's not have that argument with people. Oh, this could be in Target. Why ain't this in Target? Target could put this on their shelves. No.
When that big stuff does show up, it always goes to clearance, and that's
Yep.
not really good for anybody either.
Hmm.
Yep. No. People don't seem to.
And for that matter, they don't get high quantity of it either.
No, 2, 3, maybe tops.
Yep.
But
Whatever's coming in, like the shipper, I guess.
yeah, and like I'm curious too. Is this something just an evolution of where the collector space is? I mean, things get you know you got the regular size stuff, then stuff gets small. Like I mean, look at the '80s. Like you had like stuff went down to micro machines. And how
Yeah,
big they
but then
were.
you
And then but you then also had those big things like the Castle Grayskulls and the Cat's Lairs, and like the GoBot
the
Command
Turnier
Center
play
stuff.
set,
Yeah.
the Turnier play set, you literally had a 7 foot tall, 7 foot long USS flag.
Hmm.
So they made big toys back then also. Um, but like I remember reading information, the flag was never meant with the idea that it was going to sell. It was meant as as a display piece in the store to to catch your attention to the Joe aisle, right? Like
Hmm.
whether the flag sold or not, it didn't seem like it was their concern. It was meant just to bring people in, right? And I mean, look at the popularity of the flag. It's something that everybody wants. All the Joe kids wanted one. I never had one because it was just too damn big.
I didn't even know the thing existed until I was probably in my 20s.
Really?
Hmm. Yep. Because like where I grew up, other than school, I didn't have anyone around me, and I don't remember ever knowing anyone in school that was like a GI Joe person. You know. So.
Yeah, I didn't have it. None of my friends had it, so I never
Mm.
ever had a chance to really mess with one. I've seen them in a few stores, and that's about it.
And just bringing up the point though of large children's toys, they were that, and they were. If you were like me, or the way I remember most kids, your stuff was on the floor probably. And there is a difference between having a Snake Mountain and Grayskull on the floor versus you're going to quickly run out of room when you're trying to put giant things on shelves. And I mean something like the classics or the Super 7 sides. Like Cat's Lair is pretty huge right now. And like this Metroplex, look, if people are not opting to keep it in the robot mode for whatever the fear of damage to the joints or anything, you got to keep that in city mode. That's a different big.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
you just change you're no longer using your vertical space,
Yeah.
and that's taking up your floor. I don't know, like, and you're not putting that on a shelf. Like you have to give up a table.
Hmm. Well, I mean, think about it too. Like as a kid, like my stuff wasn't going on a shelf. Like you would not see this in my. Most of my
No.
toys were in a tote or in a in something like that. Anything that was on a shelf was like on a dresser because that's where I put it. That was the newest cool thing that I got that I want to see. And like maybe something like that. But I mean, because I mean, think about it. Like we played with most of our toys either on the floor, outside, something like that.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, like when Scott gets this thing, he's not going to be like, "Hey, fellas, look what I got," and go teeter tottering over to the neighbor's house. You know, Although I'd love to see that.
I think he might. I can definitely see him doing that.
So, but it's one of those things of like, where can they go with this kind of stuff? Where can they go with like what else are we looking at down the line? I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure what else there is. Like, you're more into the the stuff with Motu. Is there any other big sets that they got that they could come out other than I think what the Snake Pit?
Well, it depends. Now we're talking
Depends
with
on if it's
Motu
coming out for Origins or
or
Masterverse.
Masterverse exactly because
Yeah.
Origins they already did Snake Mountain, they did Castle Grayskull. They got that Snake Lair playset supposedly going to be coming out sooner or later. But for the Masterverse side, the bigger inch figures, all they've done is figures so far. They haven't done any vehicles or anything like that. I did read an article, and I know I had mentioned it earlier on Gizmodo that they were interviewing one of the guys from the Masterverse team, and according to him, and take what you will from this, but everything that you can expect and want from the Masterverse line is going to be coming. Will they do a Castle Grayskull on the Snake Mountain? I don't know. I know the aftermarket prices on the two that we have in that scale already quite high, quite high. Like they're both could go anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500. So there's a
For
market for it. People want those Super 7 ones and those Matty Collector ones. They're around the same scale as your Masterverse, so that's why those prices have not gone down.
Oh,
Hmm.
so there are Masterverse sized playsets out there.
Motu Classics did
Hmm.
a Grayskull, and a Snake Mountain, yes. And Motu Classics are just about the same size as Masterverse figure now.
Okay,
A little bit, Masterverse is just a tiny bit taller,
Hmm.
but yes. So
gotcha.
you have those,
And
and there's
Classic,
some vehicles.
yeah, Classics had done a variety of vehicles, which Masterverse has not. Just the Battle Cat so far, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I mean that thing's. I mean that thing's on my shelf. It takes up. It's about a foot long. I mean that thing's. It's a beast in itself, literally. So
So there's things that they can make, but the question that I would ask is when is it going to be too much or too late? Because usually, a lot of us are not all of us. There are some of us that are just into maybe one line, two lines, but there's a lot of collectors that are into multiple lines, right? So they're buying all this stuff now. Like it's going to get to a point where you know, oh wow, Masterverse is making the Castle Grayskull. Something of mine now has to go.
hmm
Marvel Legends Sentinel is 22 inches. Right now that's in a box in the closet. I have that second Sentinel that they put out last year that's coming out. That'll be shipping in October, November. That's a little bit smaller for the animated Sentinel. Where am I? I'm already at a point. Where am I putting that? I have a Rattler that's paid for coming from HasLab. Where am I putting that? Lewin, when they very first teased that Metroplex 2 years ago, at the end of their intro video, they teased Triptychon. So now what? You look at people about who have a Metroplex, and now they're gonna get a 4 foot tall dinosaur. I ain't gonna lie, that does sound kind of cool though.
yeah, I mean don't get me
I
wrong.
ain't gonna lie. A 4 foot tall robot dinosaur does sound kind of cool.
Like so, I all right. I've got space for that thing, right? If I wanted to get both of them, I've got space downstairs in my collector space for that, for both of them. You know, and let's just assume that Triptychon's going to be the same price. Like I could, I could wrangle that. But my thing is with that is like, do I want to? Do I want to go that route? Like, do I? What is the draw to me? Like that thing's going to be cool to look at for a week, but then it's going to be okay. Now I've got this huge thing that it's just
Hmm.
cool, right? But on the flip side, I'm also like, what am I going to do with this thing in 10 years?
I mean, like
Hmm.
Hasbro Titans have taken up quite a lot of space as is,
Yeah,
and I got rid of all mine, but a
same.
lot of it had to do with, well, what else can I do with that space? And The answer was I can put out a lot more, and it's not to buy more; it's to better display what I already have,
Yeah.
make better use of my space, and I don't want anything asses to elbows.
Yeah. So like downstairs, I've got shelves similar to this downstairs, and that's where all of my Titans are, and that's all where all of my MP combiners are sitting on those shelves up on the top, you know. But it's one of those things to where it's just like, well, what am I going like, like this is cool. Like how much stuff like all right, like that dragonfly. After the first week, how much have you messed with it? Not
I haven't
like
touched it.
yeah.
But I mean, when you're talking about what am I going to do in this in 10 years, I mean, I can say that about every single thing I purchase as a collector. What am I going to be doing with this in 10 years when I'm almost 60? Who knows? You know, but I mean, a lot of my stuff usually just winds up going on the shelf, and I don't really mess with it much after that. Anyway, but like you can't tell me that people are sitting there back and forth every week transforming that Metroplex at that size.
Yeah. And so like Esteban commented,
I just got to
yep,
quickly correct Esteban. I think the
yeah.
hardest part's getting it through your front door.
Finding a buddy to help you carry all the boxes in. But no, I mean, like along that comment, if you think, oh, it's only gonna be cool for a week, it's not that like I think like, oh, this is gonna be cool for a week, but it's one of those things like, you know, the reason I asked was like with E in these dragonfly there's like he still thinks it's cool, but you don't see him picking it up, moving around, spinning the
Yeah,
propeller. It's the same thing we're
I'm not
doing
a
with that
swoosh
Metroplex.
around the room kind of person with my
Yeah,
toys. No, I'm not.
yeah. So it's one of those things like even with this Metroplex, which is it's kind of stationary. It's not like you can turn it into a truck and drive around. Yes, if it's got the battle base and it's got wheels and you can roll, I get that. But like after that week or two, what are you going to do with this thing? Like I'm not saying it loses its cool after that time. It's just what are you going to do with it? It's going to sit there. You're going to come down maybe every how many ever months and transform it or pick it up or whatever, but then you got to put it back down unless you got that stand.
And then you throw out
You
your
know,
back.
you know. Yeah, at our ages, that's what happened.
Yeah, and that's one. I wasn't a collector 10 years ago, so I couldn't tell you anything about that. But
So
that's a
Esteban,
question for Joe and Gort.
So Esteban, my biggest so 10 years ago, a lot of the issues and stuff I had was space. So like I knew like so my down where I'm sitting at, we have a split level, right? So like I knew the downstairs was going to be my collector space, but we wanted to get some things done down there and whatnot. And I got to the point where like one of the things we ran into was flooring. We couldn't put our flooring down that we wanted because we found out when they built the house, the concrete they laid was uneven. So that really threw kind of like that limited us and life happens, blah blah blah. So 10
Can't
years,
just
like a
sand
lot.
it.
That's a lot of sanding for concrete, dude. Like I don't know how drunk the guy was that poured the concrete, but like it like if we went carpet, it's a boring story. Don't worry about it. But point being, so eventually I got tired of having my stuff in totes and boxes because that's what I would do. I would my box of whatever would come in, I'd take it out, I'd fiddle with it for a day or two, blah blah blah. And then it would either go back in the box into the tote or it would just go into the tote. If it's mainline stuff that I'm not worried about getting messed up. Really, about 5 years or so ago, well, golly, it's probably longer than that now. Whenever was it 2019? I guess was rusted. That's when I started getting into MP, and it was shortly after that I was like, I got to do something with this stuff. I want to enjoy it. I want to have it out. Like if you look on my shelf here, like these turtles, these here, and even the Motu stuff behind my shoulders here, that's still sat in packages. And I just recently got that up 2 months ago. I mean, y'all saw the change as the show went on, and it's not that I didn't enjoy the stuff. It's just like, where am I going to put this? So now I've got this whole, I've got this stuff. I want to enjoy it. Things like that. Oh, and Esteban, I know you're not being confrontational. I get that, dude. It's all good in here. But my thing 10 years ago was, where am I going to put this stuff? So some of us like we're into our spaces. Like I'm, whether you consider it lucky enough or unfortunate, whatever. I don't have kids, so like it's my stuff. Like this is my wife and I's house that we can just turn into our little castle of whatever I like. You know, I've got the Titans Return Fort Max sitting in my living room currently. My wife doesn't care. You know, um, those kinds of things. I mean, it's not there for like a display. It's just like I got to move some stuff to get it where it needs to go. So hope that kind of answers that question. Oh, and Derek, I'll be more than happy anytime to come over to your house, buddy, and uh, play with your toys, if you will.
And I stare at my collection all the time. It's why it's one of the things I like doing the dioramas for. You know, is just for the display presence on the shelves. But yeah, even though I'm not a swoosher, I know it doesn't mean I don't like the stuff anymore. It's just that sometimes it's like, as I keep continuing to order bigger things, it's like, what am I doing? Like, I literally passed on Decto One, which I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for at the
Mm,
moment because like, what am I gonna do with it? Where am I gonna put it? Unfortunately, I'm not a homeowner, so I have an apartment. This is my wall in my living room. So where, how much stuff can I pack away in my closet until the time is right till we buy the house? And still, who knows, who knows what kind of house I get? Who knows if I buy a house and my wife is gonna make me give the basement to her mother? You know, like, and then I gotta wait even longer. Like, I refuse to be that collector also that has to buy a storage unit and
mm,
pay that monthly. Like, there's no point there. To me, there's just no point in doing that. I mean, for those who do that, yeah, I'm not knocking anybody for it, but I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to throw away. I live in New York. These storage units are not cheap. $400, $500, $600 a month, easy. Thrown away on the storage unit, like, what, just to house toys that I can't display. And then I think about all the things I do want. I do want a Castle Grayskull. I do want a Sing Mountain. You know, those are really big items. If I went that route, I would totally have to rethink my space right now. What gets packed away? A dragonfly that I bought. Guess what? It's one getting packed away in a box. His tank is packed away in a box to make room for something I'd rather have than those.
make it a nightstand in your bedroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
know, I don't know. I don't know. And then you think, like I said, just again, thinking about other things that might be coming down the line.
hmm
You know, you, uh, uh, you know, you have a Metroplex. Are you buying a Triptychon now? Do you feel like you have to have both?
I feel like you have to. Like
You
if I
know,
went in on the Metroplex, I'd have to get the Triptychon. Now,
exactly. And then what's the rabbit hole next? How much room do you have for 12 fucking robots?
yeah, and
Oh no, they're doing Scorponok. Fuck, that looks good. I don't know, the Scorponok. I got get 4 Max now. Like,
mhm.
next thing you know,
There's a 6 foot Unicron coming. That kind of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
someone's gonna try to top it. Oh, Unicorn's got to be the tallest one. So hey, oh wow,
Well,
he's taller than
you see
me,
the
but
money
let's
that
go.
people are spending on the Hasbro one. You make one that's a foot taller than that, you can charge less or similar money, and people will buy that.
hmm Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like there's certain things I would probably buy that was bigger. Like I know, like I talked to you all about it. I don't know if it was on like a broadcast or not, but with that Robotech playset base, if there was a bigger version of that, I would definitely buy that. Just for the nostalgia feels.
Same. I had the Matchbox one as a kid. And that was a big boy. That was a big
Yeah.
toy at the time. Not a big Robotech fan, but that one does hold a lot of like. I played with that. I played the shit out of that thing.
hmm
So
Yeah. Like the play set that I had, like it had so many play features too. Like this panel could pop out and it was a gun emplacement. This panel could pop out and it was a prison. This panel could pop out and it was like, oh, battle damage, and you like little pegs for your figures to then repair it. And there was a little jail and a little elevator, and their seats rotated, and there was a moving crane, and then even the crane went up and down. And you cranked it, like that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot there to do that with that as a kid. Um, and I think I probably would go in that. I mean, you all know, like it's Transformers is my thing. That's always been my thing. It's just how it is. But like as much as I'm like this Metroplex, and I do think it looks good. I think it looks cool, but it's just one of those things. I'm like, that is awesome. If someone said, "Hey Joe, ta-da," I'd be overjoyed at that. But it's one of those things of like I'm not.
So
going
you're
to
not
go
getting
out.
one for your birthday from us. Sorry.
Well, no, I appreciate that. Somebody would probably steal it in the mail. But anyway,
Oof.
point being is like, as much as I think that is as cool and as awesome as it is, even with the whole well, it can't stand up. That's fine. I'm okay with that. You know, I get it. You know, everything's got limitations. I mean, hell, I can't stand up too long. And
Exactly. So my
so
knees can't hold it anymore.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it'd be cool, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, there's a line somewhere, and I think I'm like, this is cool, but nah, not for me.
See, and what's the line? What's your line? What's my line? My line, I don't know, because if Masterverse did start making these vehicles and playsets in that scale, when it comes to the He-Man stuff, I'm not saying no. I will buy them all, and then and it's like, what am I? Again, I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing? Because I'm not going to be able to display it all.
Mhm.
Something's got to go. Like at this point now, I know I'm going to start nitpicking the Joe stuff.
Yeah, I've already started that. So do
When it
you all
comes to the
remember?
HasLabs, like I don't think I want this Rattler when it comes in. I didn't really care for it as a child. I didn't have one, so there's no attachment to it for the Joe line. So I think when that comes in, it might just might go out the door.
So
That's definitely the plan for my Rattler.
You know, and just cough up the money and buy a Wild Weasel loose somewhere if I really want one.
mm,
Yeah.
so like one of the things that I would probably go in on if they upscaled it is, you all remember like for the Transformer stuff, the Micromasters, the bases, you know, it was like
Hmm.
a gas
Hmm.
station turned into this, or you know, I would probably go in with on that, because I am still childlike enough to where I could see myself probably getting at the kitchen table or getting on the floor and playing with that, you know. And like as a kid, like I never got into I'm more into Motu now as an adult than I ever was as a kid. Okay. And in my mind, like I feel like as a kid, Thundercats was cooler than He-Man, right? And that's not being definite or anything like that.
Yeah, you're a
Um,
weird child. But anyway.
Yep.
well, it's because I knew a little bit more about Thundercats than I did He-Man back then. But you know, I started rewatching Thundercats, and I realized how much Lino's just a whiny little pansy, and I'm just like, I can't stand this character.
Oh, he's like
And
Rodimus. He was a Rodimus to Transformers.
he was
Pretty much,
different
yeah.
though. Like Rodimus's whiny was different. Okay, that's a
Whiny's
whole nother
whiny.
topic. But anyway, but I'm more into Motu now, and I don't know why. I can't really justify it. But I'm with you to where if there was like, I kind of regret not getting that origin sized Grayskull that was in my Target last Christmas. You know, I think it was last Christmas.
Is it hard to find now the Origins Grayskull?
I haven't looked for it because
Oh,
again, I'm like, where am I going to put this? But you know, I kind of regret not getting that because it's a place that like you could get down and do stuff with it. Now, and I'm kind of like you. If there's a Masterverse stuff coming out, like I love the way this Masterverse stuff looks. Like I would I would 9 out of 10 considering buying something like that. And
So
again, I don't know why, but that Snake's lair, I've got no connection to it. I just think it looks cool and I want it.
no, I don't. We won't have to. I think the snake layer that they actually revealed at SDCC does not look good, and that's why they had to go back to the drawing board for it. What they should have given you is not what you got.
No, no,
But
I'm talking about the old one. the old one. I think.
Oh,
So if it looked
The Snake Mountain, the Snake Mountain,
no, no, Snake
Mm.
Mountain. It's the one like it had the little rubber snake on the side.
the Fright Zone, the
Thank
Fright
you,
Zone.
thank you.
Yeah, that's the Fright
That's what I
Zone.
was thinking of.
So I would assume Origins will eventually get around to making the
Yeah,
Fright Zone.
and that one's not particularly large either.
Yeah, it's
No,
actually
it's not.
smaller than the other two. And I mean, just to get off the topic real quick, it depends what you're looking for. Like, you can find a Castle Grayskull shelf, just a shell for display, a vintage one, really fucking cheap.
You can find one at NJCC coming up.
So now if you're looking for it to be complete with all the accessories and the features, then yeah, it could,
Oh yeah,
depending. That's different. I don't know if the Origins one is still available or not, or or the Snake Mountain, or how expensive they are.
yeah.
But
That's I'll probably check into that once we go and broadcast it. But
it all depends on how complete you want it.
yeah,
But that besides the point. Like Motu, and if they did all those vehicles, yeah, I'd buy every single fucking one. I know I would. As a kid, Motu was the biggest collection and took up the most space for me. It was all, more than anything else, it was Motu, Motu, Motu. And then GI Joe, and thinking about GI Joe, it's like I want them to do a whale. Where the fuck am I gonna put a whale? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like I look at that ghost, and I think it would have been damn cool to own that ghost, even though I'm not a Star Wars 3 and 3/4 collector. But again, that ghost was so big, it was like, well, I can't do this. I don't have any Batmobiles or Batwings because of the size that they're making them now. It's like it's great. We've all said, "Oh, I wish they made more vehicles for our 6-inch figures." Well, and stuff. And now we're getting them now, and I think collectors are starting to be like, "What the fuck did I do?" No,
yeah.
I've heard several people with this cat slayer already, like, I didn't know what I really didn't know what I was getting into when you actually see the size of it. And it's like,
I
yeah,
didn't realize it. I had no idea. Like I saw some pictures of it, and I'm like, well, I was like, yeah, it's big, but I don't. But then when I know, like when I actually saw it in pictures in displays with stuff to scale with, I was like, holy crap, that thing is ridiculous.
yeah,
Cool,
no.
cool as all hell, but ridiculous.
I mean, when I first saw the Unicron, right? I mean, I remember when they did the HasLab Unicron, I was like, all right, this is big. But when I saw it in person, I was like, wow, this is big. Like it doesn't, you really don't realize it until you see it in hand. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I canceled my Thunder Tank pre-order, luckily about a week before it finally came out. Like that, you see the size of that Thunder Tank. It's like, what, I'm like, where am I putting this?
And that thing
You
eventually
know,
went on sale, didn't it?
it's on sale right now on
Yeah.
BBTS, so like $150 off already. So it's too big. But people, these GI Joe HasLabs, they've been hotcakes, no problem selling the three HasLabs so far. So people want them for whatever they're doing with them. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I know I don't have space for a Rattler at all. So now it's just going to be with those. I'm really going to wait for. I lie. I'll still probably back everyone, but I might flip them when I get them
Yeah.
because they do tend to go for a little bit more, especially day one, than you know. But and then not to switch subjects here, but you look at Super Seven, and they're doing this Reaction Plus line. There's a lot of places they can go with those Joes, even
Mm-hmm.
at 3 and 3/4.
Yep.
They already tried to crowdfund the mothership. That thing was massive, didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, where are you gonna put it?
well, what if they do a Defiant?
I think there are certain figures because I know you've talked about the Defiant, right? Like I think there's people like you take it for what you will that like if this piece comes out, I'm in on it. Space be damned. If it comes out, I'm in on it. and then you'll figure out the logistics later.
You know, you look at the aftermarket of a complete Defiant. It's in the thousands of dollars range. So is Super Seven? From what I heard, they said they're going to be doing vehicles and playsets for this reaction line. Like, shit, do I shrink down and go from classified to Super Seven
Here's the thing.
just to save space, like
I
I did
think
with
if you want
MP
to,
to Legends?
if all right, so if you like the figure, I think you stay in classified. But if you're about the vehicles, which I think a huge portion of GI Joe was about the vehicle, I think it was about equal about the character and the vehicle. You know, and with that, you like if I say Wild Bill, you automatically think, the Dragonfly. If I say Dragonfly, you think like. So that's why I think you have that connection to care to why they're so kind of equal along the same line. And like me as a kid, like I would probably go 3 3/4 and then get the vehicles more apt than I would be to get the 6-inch Joes, unless there was a handful of Joes that I wanted. Like this character really meant something to me as a kid or whatever.
And that is a thought that's running through my head right now. Do maybe I just keep like one shelf of my classified Joes, just the really nice ones that I really like, and dump the rest and cherry pick the Super Seven line. I picked up that Snake Eyes. It's an O-ring Joe. Like if
Yeah.
you had O-ring Joes, it's really not much. You know, they're not the greatest figures. They weren't back then either. So I was a little like, eh. But then I put him on my vintage Snowcat. And I was like, oh, this is nice. This was fun. Pulling out my vintage Snowcat and putting the figures on it. I was like, I don't know. So and their price point's a little high compared to a classified. It's like,
Because those because you said they're 3 3/4, but they're $20, right?
yeah.
All right, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Super 7 Reaction Plus stuff. So what are our thoughts on that? I mean, we've kind of touched on here a little bit. Like, Gord, what do you got?
For which?
The
Super 7 Reaction Plus line.
None.
No thoughts, none.
No
Okay.
thoughts?
Oh,
No thoughts?
All right. So Gord,
This is not how our meeting went.
No. Sorry. I heard wrong. They're asking what I have because you were just talking about you have the Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
No. I think that they're doing a good job supplementing the original toy line, making animation figures that had never seen the light of day before. And that seems to be what they're all about, making product that you don't already have access to. So let's say that you went in on this new line and you're buying vehicles again or whatever they might make. I mean, that's good, but you're also going to be picking up a lot of vintage stuff and paying those prices too, not just the prices for these new figures.
in my mind,
Like Fatal Fluffies and things like that's what they're trying to do, like that weird shit.
Yeah, but I think that's only going to get them so far. That's only going to get them so far
Yeah.
in the line.
it's like someone coming in and saying, "Hey, we're making a bunch of Kremzies. We're making some." The little mercenary guys from season 3. But now, how much joy does that bring you, E? On a scale from 1 to 10.
Oh, this was my favorite vehicle as a kid for whatever reason. Yeah, and that's the Reaction Plus, and that's a vintage Deep Six. Drivers in here. This thing is complete. A lot of people have this broken. Mine's is not broken here. I'm just missing a windshield. I mean a windshield wiper.
You didn't get that yet?
No, I keep forgetting it. It's been like 10. I've seen it on eBay for like 10, $15. So I keep telling myself I'm gonna do it at NJCC and be one of those guys that go digging through the bins.
No,
and be like, I found my last part.
There's always those guys on the other side of the room. They have that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They probably got good ones.
Side note, real quick, there is something I miss about digging through the bins. Like when I first started going to bot cons in the early 2000s, and even to a lesser degree, like at Rest in 2017, I miss that. Like now you go through the bins, it's everything from like the last 10 years. And I'm like, I don't care. I get excited over
Well,
buying a
yeah,
Super Cup.
but what you mean is it used to be good fun finds versus this was in the store last year.
Yeah. So,
And that's
but
not exciting at all.
yeah. So, what crap. Well, there went my thought. I didn't forgot it. Oh, Gore, you said something about going back and buying the figures, buying new stuff. Like I would rather, like in my mind, like it's more rewarding for me, more enjoyable to go back and buy these old uh figures, these are figure
Oh,
vehicles,
sure.
playset stuff like that, like
I don't mean to say
versus
it
the
like a
figures.
bad
Like,
thing. I
oh
just
no, no, no,
mean
no, no.
it's not what Reaction Plus is going to be about, at least with the Joe line. But what is nice with the Reaction Plus as a whole, like that kind of model, like we see it with the Micronauts coming up, and man, think about all the different licenses that they made Reaction figures for in the last 10 years. And if they had been doing them as this Reaction Plus, I think that
It would
most of
have been
that would have done a lot better.
Yeah. Now,
agreed.
And they're finally there, and I don't think they'll revisit much of that. They probably have access to their molds and stuff. I don't know what tweaking they would need to do for that, or if that even
I
most of
mean,
that
so
let
might
me
work
let me
I
hop
that
in
way.
want.
real quick. Let me hop in
Okay.
real quick
Yeah.
because I'm not involved in like that reaction stuff line other than what we've talked about recently. And correct me if I'm wrong. The differences between Reaction Plus is like just better articulation, pinless, right? That kind of stuff.
It's the
Uh,
difference of what like a 5 POA like Kenner Star Wars
Yeah.
figure was versus the GI Joe.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
so a reaction plus would literally just be
Shoulders, hips, head.
this. This is what you're getting from reaction plus.
Gotcha.
With a reaction figure, a plus line, they give you the knees and articulation and
Gotcha. And those are going for 20, right?
yeah.
Okay.
You know. And
So
Gordon, what do you mean? I want to revisit what you said. You had said What do you mean you're not going to get this from the? What are you not going to get from the Joe line? Is what you were trying to say?
Like so they're making Sunbow stuff or comic things and stuff that was not already in the vintage line. Go buy the vintage figure if that's what you want. They're not going to make that. That's not what their
I,
goal is.
I I don't think that's true.
That's why you have the blonde cover girl. That's an
Yeah,
example.
I think that's to start, but I don't think this line's going to go far if they don't put things that
Just
people want.
about
Or
every main character that you can think of, the toy doesn't really look like the Sunbow. It's all close enough. They're going to just remake a lot of that. I'm saying if you want it to be that specific colors, those specific designs, what's different about them? Like that's what you need to go get the vintage figure for, not a
well,
Reaction Plus.
the problem with I don't know. I think that we're going to see more than just what you never saw before. I don't, if they want the line to succeed. For one, a lot of these vintage things don't hold up well. Have not held up well over the years. And you want a vintage bazooka in good shape? Go ahead, go spend. You spend a couple $100. So, I mean, maybe it's my hope that they don't do that only. Like, I think it's great that you got the fatal fluffy and whatever, but we also now just and the twins in the suits. But we also got a new Serpentor out now that they put in different color. The color scheme's a little different than what we got as a kid, but there is a Serpentor out. The Snake Eyes is I don't know what the Snake Eyes is supposed to be from, with the blue trim.
Comics.
Comics, okay.
and that scale is the same size as the
Same
80s.
size. Yeah,
Yeah.
they scale the same.
Cool.
And where you're saying that you don't think they got much mileage out of that, I mean, I think about, say, Legends Transformers is where I feel that we see it the most right now, especially New Age. But all those repaints, and they have done a fair amount of Marvel color repaints. But
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, but they're
that's another
also
color bracket where they're gonna just
but
put
they're
things out
also
in variations.
but they're also giving you the regular variation everybody knows. They're doing the repaints on them, but you are also getting your G1 colors,
Yeah,
so
because
to
I mean, you
speak.
look at New Age, just the Dinobots. You got Toon, Comic,
Yeah,
Shattered Glass, Clear.
Toy,
Yeah,
yeah.
clear, yeah.
But the difference there is like they're making brand new product for stuff that never existed. This is,
hmm
as I said, supplemental line. That's generally been the goal with Super 7. Like he likes to make product that doesn't exist. Otherwise, there's no need to buy his product.
So, and you were saying it sounds like he's talking about like coming out with vehicles for this line too, or just the figures.
That's what when the announcement came out, um, I read that he said that they will be doing vehicles and playsets also at some point. So,
It's all yet to be seen.
and actually, they just started. They've got what, two waves out. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something to look forward to. Definitely something to, because like as a kid, I think I enjoyed. The problem I had was like I had like 3 figures, and like the vehicle I had space for like 8 figures. That kind of
Hmm.
stuff. But I definitely had more vehicles than I did figures growing up, and it was always cool when you got the figure with the vehicle. Like this person goes with this vehicle kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, I mean, I think this. Like I wasn't a Micronauts fan. But I know he's doing that also. And like Gord said, I think this is really smart of them to do these figures with articulation now.
Yeah, I think that's going to help sell a lot of this because the 5 POA is not very exciting.
No.
But look at the Transformers line that he does. They're 5 POA figures. They look exactly like those Sunbow designs. What if they had all this extra articulation? What if those Transformers that you see clogging pegs in a Target or FYE or wherever, what if they had this GI Joe articulation and they were those exact cartoon designs? They don't transform, but they're gonna be like nice action masters, more or less.
I don't
Like
know.
I think that would sell where the Transformers, otherwise seem to just go to clearance.
I think those would probably sell better. I don't
Yeah.
know if they would be hot, just because it's that whole thing of my Transformers should transform kind of concept.
Transformers also has a heavy saturation that other brands don't.
It's true. You
There's
know.
not 17 third parties making GI Joe. Like doesn't it's not how it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Like.
that goes into the same thing here. Speaking in terms of like the Reaction Plus or just lines coming up, but like those new Thundercats that are coming, the crossovers. Like I know not everybody's a fan of that, but what they're doing smart, what Mattel is doing smart this time is giving you swappable pieces so that you can have a classic cartoon look for all of those characters, and you're not just stuck with Masters of the Universe crap jammed all over them. But Thundercats is another one of these things. Like Joe, you don't have 17 companies making it. You have the
Hmm.
original toy line, you have Super 7, and now there's this.
Yeah.
So you better pick which one you want. It's not a tough choice.
Yeah.
It's very limited.
Yeah. And like that crossover, like they didn't look bad. Like I was trying to figure out, like when I saw that Cringer, I was like, well, which Thundercat looked like this? Like it just didn't dawn on me that like, oh, that's Cringer. It took me a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like the one off there, but like you can see the Skeletor, Mumra figure, the Chitara, the Lino. They literally have the parts for you to just have it look exactly like Lino
Yeah.
should look.
Hmm.
And I think that is the smart thing that they're doing this time with the crossovers.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of the crossovers, but I think this one's a little different and being done in a way that I can almost get behind.
You'll break.
I don't think so.
And you sold all your Thundercat stuff, didn't you?
Yep.
E.E.?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So is this something, like Willie? This is something that, if you still had them, is this something good enough that you might replace out, or
I don't. As of now, I need to see more if I'm gonna grab any or not. I don't. I'm as of now, I'm not in.
hmm
Um, but who knows? Things change, right?
no?
We change our mind all the time. Our collections are always fluid.
Yep.
Do you have any Thundercat representation left?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Not a single one.
So where would they fall in your list of priorities of stuff that meant something to you growing up?
Obviously, not as high as I originally thought they did when I since I got rid of them all. I don't know anymore. I guess as I was getting them and I was paying the prices for them, and I guess once I canceled uh, that Thunder Tank, I had a feeling I was going to be out soon, and I literally waited. It was like I got that very last one of the twins when the last one of the little kids came out,
Hmm.
and the team was complete.
Hmm.
2 weeks later, they were gone. Literally like 2 weeks later. Yeah, I'm done. I don't like these. I'm out.
Yeah, but I think you'll be in on this one, and I wanted to quickly share. I found a leaked photo of the second wave. Look at that. How could you not be in on this line?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right?
Hmm.
That thing looked wrong. The word I want to use is veiny.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, the things you see at 10 o'clock at night on the internet. So,
Um, no, Brink, I'm good.
Mini mates. Oh man.
But no, there's a lot of places they can go. Super Seven with the Reaction Plus line. Um, and these Thundercats, there's a lot of potential there. I don't know how deep they're gonna go. If you're just gonna get figures, or is this eventually gonna be a full Thundercat line? I don't think so. Like I don't expect to get any vehicles and stuff like that for this He-Man Motu crossover.
Well, it's going to be Masters of the Universe characters thrown in there
Yeah,
just as much as it's Thundercats. I expect you're going to get for sure that main lineup, and then you'll get the main mutants. But after that, I
I
wouldn't
think you're
feel it.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what scale are they, Gort?
6-inch.
Okay,
Filmation Origins right now.
Yeah, 6-inch.
gotcha.
All right,
So,
Uh
I'm
oh.
buzzing.
oh, did Willie's Pizza show up?
Yeah, I was about to say it.
Oh, that's what we ought to do. We ought to order him a pizza, have it delivered to his house unexpectedly.
Oh yeah, but then I might have to drive there and eat it.
No, 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 no. I'm saying like
You're not
we
getting the
order a
joke.
pizza for EE at like 2 in the morning or some shit like that. So
Pizza
Derek,
now.
as soon as you put pizza time, my thought was that old the Ninja Turtles arcade game when you recovered health and you grabbed the pizza. It was like
Pizza
pizza
time.
time. God, it was a good game.
Cowabunga.
Was that the same one where if you did the move just right, you could throw the foot soldier against the screen of the arcade and they would slide down?
Hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah, I want to say yeah.
Like that, I thought that was kind of funny. It's like it kind of broke the
There's like the
fourth
same
wall a little
sound
bit.
effects in a lot of them,
Yeah.
like the original arcade and Turtles in Time.
Hmm. I played that. I played the X-Men. Like one of the reasons I still got my PS3 is for the Transformer games, but also I downloaded for $10. I downloaded the X-Men arcade game.
I didn't know that was
And
available.
yeah. Back in the day, it was. I don't know if it still is or not. But
Yeah, I would go look. That
yeah,
would be a
yeah,
nice thing to throw on there.
but yeah. That's one of the reasons because it's on that. It's
I
there, and I
have
keep
the Turtles games.
really.
Yeah, I had a couple of them already, and then they put out that disc that had them all anyway.
I didn't even know that came out.
All the vintage arcade games and like Nintendo versions of them. So I think it has like Super Nintendo, Sega, and the arcade game for Turtles in Time as an example. And there's just slight variation to some of that.
Gotcha. Derek, if you want, next time you have a cookout and I come over, I'll bring my PS3 and we'll have to find some other controllers. So, but I remember as a kid, like loving the turtle stuff. But I remember the NES one and that daggone the dam level with all the seaweed.
Hmm.
Mm. Like, I
Yeah, not fun.
rarely got past that one.
Yeah, no, I hated that. That game was not like I don't know. There's lots of complaining and crying. I feel like playing that at people's
I hate
houses.
this game.
Yeah, it was like, look, it's not that it isn't a fun game, but it is not always enjoyable.
No,
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
no. I
Like, just
always
want to
hated
play
it.
Mario 3. Put that one in.
Yeah. When we would rent video games, it wasn't a 2-player. My little brother, he'd get mad. He would stand on the Nintendo.
What?
Like we rented like a video game and it wasn't a 2-player game. Like he would get mad and stand on the Nintendo. Like that was his protest. I'm like, please don't break this. And of course, because it's my entertainment. And then my parents were like, it's expensive. Get the hell off.
Yeah.
So, but
Sorry about that, guys.
So what happened? You finish your pizza?
hold on.
Nah, my wife just walked in.
They robbed him. They took his glasses. Slapped him right off his face because he didn't give him a tip.
You know, I'm gonna slap my glasses off my face. Let's stop that now. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were just talking about filler fluff. We were talking about was it Derek said something about pizza time, and that led into the Ninja Turtles video game of wanting to get their health. They say pizza time, and that led into a arcade conversation, video game conversation.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like I'm liking this. What the pictures I've looked up, we've talked about here. Like I'm liking this Reaction Plus, but I also feel like $20 is a little steep for it. Because did that come with anything, or is it just the figure?
So, hold on. He came with. I'll show you right now. Came with a backpack, a gun, and a sword. That's it.
Okay, please.
So only show us 2 of those things.
Yeah,
Well, I'm trying. They're kind of stuck in the snowcat right now.
I'm very interested in this backpack that you mentioned.
There we go. Well, it's just like the old school backpack. Just plug it into there. Oh, wrong one. You just plug it into his back, like the old ones were.
Yep.
So they come with very limited accessories.
Looks like
Yeah.
a Lego sword.
Yeah, the sword's really big. But the weapons were always a little oversized for the 3 3/4 stuff. That's it. So yeah, they don't come with much. So just keep
Well, I
that
feel
in
like
mind.
too, it's one of those things like, I mean, the original figures came with, you probably get a gun or a backpack. You get a couple
Yeah.
things too, so it's an appropriate amount. So that's, I mean, even though I'm thinking maybe 15 for that, I'd probably be a little bit more comfortable with.
Well, we don't know what they're having to pay
Oh, I know there's
in
licensing
licensing fees,
and stuff like
you
that.
know, and they are a smaller company. They don't have the resources that, let's say, Mattel has or
Well,
Hasbro himself has. So who
bringing
knows?
up the Thundercats thing again, those are retailing at 20 as well. It's almost, look, it's got a couple inches in height. It's a
And you're
bigger
getting more.
figure. You're getting a lot more accessories, and yeah, it's like a whole other kind of value. But that's what a larger company can give you at the same price. Like it would definitely be nice to get new Joes cheaper, but
Like if these would have been
without it,
$15, I'd probably be all in.
Yeah.
I won't even lie. But yes, and that $5 price does make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I just dropped the gun. I know people are like, oh, it's only $5, but
Well, again, like part of the reason there's some things I buy and I don't buy just based on do I feel like I'm getting my value, like
hmm
based on what, like I think that's a cool looking figure, but I don't think that and its accessories is $20 to me. Because sometimes what I've started doing, for good or for bad, because the way my head works is weird sometimes, is I equate this of how long do I need to work to pay for that thing. You know, like how many hours do I have to like if I wanted that Metroplex, how many hours would I have to work to pay that off? You know,
Yeah, no, that is definitely one way to do it, one way to think. I try not to. Um, but I mean, in the end, look, I'll be honest. I'm not an expensive collector. I don't buy. I'm not buying nothing. Nothing I buy is high end. Um, I don't buy MP anymore. I'm not spending $700 on a Blitzwave Voltron. Like it's just you know 25 dollars fucking action figures when they come out for GI Joe, Motu, and the New Age or Magic Square. Probably the most expensive things I buy.
yeah,
The Mayfix figures when they come out, but they're few and far between.
you know, like I'll look like the Magic Square and New Age Dinobots. Like I'll look at them and I'm like, it was $75 from Show Z. Had they not been the Dinobots, I probably wouldn't have got them. They're 100 plus here stateside if you want to get them, and
Hmm.
I know they're not worth that. To me, they're not worth that.
No,
You know, these little guys, 55 for both shipped. So you're looking at $22 a piece for those little things. I'm okay with that because it's because I also I would recognize there's some engineering that goes into this, and it goes robot train and it's going to turn into legs and feet. Um,
Hmm.
I'm good with that. So like that's the way I am. Like I've always dealt money, and I think it's a deep seated. Like one of the things that made my parents split was over money. That was probably one of the biggest things, not the only thing. And so now I focus on finances probably way too much. I'm sure my wife will tell you that.
it's not a bad thing. I mean, I, I know some of you guys heard a joke yesterday, but I sent my wife that Motu Classics Castle Grayskull on eBay. I said, since my birthday's coming up and our anniversary, you could roll everything up into one. and, and it was $1,000, and she was like, she asked me if I was on drugs. I was like, what? Well, and then she thought I was joking, and I was like, no. She's like, you're joking, right? I said, yeah, I'm joking. Unless you really want to buy it, then I'm
Wink, wink,
serious.
nod, nod.
I was like, what if I throw in Christmas this year and next year too? You gotta get me that for the next 2 years.
No.
Yeah, no. But now it's like, if I do buy it, she's gonna know because she saw the price. She'll
Hmm.
know what I spent, I've never spent that much on anything. You know, we don't, I don't anything expensive. Like I'll always let her know, right?
Hmm.
And she's never been like, I don't know,
Yeah. Mm,
But that's $1,000 on the toy when she'll be like, that could have gone to our cruise that we're going on next year, and she's right. And she's right, which is probably why I won't do it.
So you get it and you take it on the cruise with you.
There you go.
You know,
I won it in a raffle.
Derek won an extra one in the raffle and sent it to you.
I need to. Maybe I should look for some raffles that have that in it, and Max Derrick to start joining those raffles for me under his name.
Uh huh. Yeah. See, there we go. It's all worked out. She doesn't
Yeah, there
watch
we
this,
go.
so we're good. Yeah. My wife has always been like, buy the stupid piece of plastic. I don't care. But she's also been the spender and I'm the saver. So, you know,
We're definitely, me and my wife are definitely the opposite.
uh,
She's the penny pincher, and I'm the not penny pincher. But it works out. If we were both not penny pinchers, then we'd have a problem.
yeah. So, but that's kind of where I'm at with it is like the whole, like, is this worth it to me? Whether it be the Metroplex, is like going back to that, is this worth the space? Is this worth, to a lesser degree, the stress of getting 4 boxes here, knowing that if any one of the boxes are missing or significantly damaged, that's going to affect this huge figure that I now have to put together,
Yeah.
let alone the price. All the way down to this $20 Reaction Plus figure that's, you know, it's cool. I like it, but if they start putting out vehicles, that's awesome too. But on the flip side, to me, $20 seems a little much for what I'm getting out of that
Yeah,
big.
and it makes me wonder, what are you going to charge for your vehicles?
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, when you do them, like, what's going to be that price point?
75 to 100 easy.
Yeah, and that's when a classified vamp was $100, right? We
Yeah.
paid, right?
99. But yeah,
Right,
100.
for a classified scale vamp with everything I got. For Super 7, charge me the same price for 3 3/4. That's a no.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Yeah. Well, even
You
Fans
know,
Hobby, how much was their little
their
figure?
Skyhawk was $100.
Yeah.
I believe it was $100 or $80. Might have been 80. I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
I think it might probably depend on
Uh,
where you buy it from.
uh, Brink, I know you grabbed that Fans Hobby one. If you could tell me in the chat how much it was, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. And
But
Derek, no hate. You are a lucky son of a gun in these raffles. Um, but like I would almost again, I'd rather go back and spend the money on the vintage one.
see,
If I'm spending $100 for something new, I'd almost rather go back and spend probably something comparable to that. Like, yeah, I know the stickers will probably be peeling off, or it's got 7 of the 8 missiles. I've got to track down another missile. But on the flip side, sometimes you find a good one. Like we got what was it at RetroCon? I got the tank, the Slam, like the 4-barrel tank that's got all the missiles on it, complete. I paid $15. Like I didn't haggle for that. The dude's like $15. Yes, all day long. You know.
I think it depends on the line. Like, I've looked at the Joe stuff, the vintage stuff, right? The fact that they're O-ring, you're looking at a lot of repairs for the O-ring stuff with the rubber bands inside, which isn't too bad that you have to do. Um, but a lot of them, that's just for the figures. Like, a lot of them are expensive now. Like, if you want one in decent shape, like, like I've been looking for the bat for forever, and I just don't want to cough up $80 for it.
Mm,
Like, for that, I would hope that Super 7 will make that black bat, make it in black. They're making it in blue right now. I would hope they make it in black. Something like the whale has a lot of very delicate broken pieces that has not held up over time.
yeah.
So it's like, do I want to? I don't want to buy. That's why I don't want to buy a vintage one.
Yeah.
I don't want something broken
But to me, I don't want something broken. However,
or
it
something that's so delicate that you can't touch.
yeah, now that's an issue.
Yeah,
But like if something's broken, right? And I'm not talking like mangled or whatever, but like going back to that Slam. So the Slam basically has a bunch of flat fins and the missiles peg on like this, right? And if something's broke, I'm kind of okay with it because that just adds something to that figure. There's something about perfection and imperfection.
yeah,
I can't remember what it's called, but basically, was it a Japanese thing where like the bowl breaks and they put it back together with gold, and things like that. It's something like that. Knowing that this thing was played with as a kid, this thing was loved, this thing was, it meant something to somebody at some point. It's I don't know. It's like
if
someone
it
else,
was mine,
you
if it
know.
was mine, my original, then yeah, I could feel that way, right?
Yeah, but I'm like again, I'm not talking like some
Yeah,
big problem, big break, big something. I'm just talking about like it was something minor,
like if I still had my Optimus Prime with the glued on arm after I broke it, I'd have it on display
Yeah.
because it was my Optimus Prime.
Hmm.
And yes, the arm is broken, but it was my Optimus Prime.
Yep.
I'm not buying your glued on Optimus Prime.
No, no,
No.
and like I said, that's a big thing. But like downstairs, like I got a hoist. I have no clue where I got it. I have no clue ever getting this thing as a kid, like or as a person. I always remember having this figure. Like I never remember not having it. I never remember getting it. It's always been a part of my life. There's been a couple of figures like that. And that's one of them. It has no wheels, no hands, no missile stuff that goes in the wrist. It doesn't have the backpack stuff for truck mode that turns it into a tow truck. It has no accessories whatsoever. You know, and I know if I was to try to sell that on eBay, I might get $3. If anyone would even buy it. But to me, it's that means something to me. So but I also recognize that no one else would probably want this. unless it's one of those things you give
Yeah.
it to some kid just
Mhm.
because, like, oh, like you're 5, and you like Transformers, here's an old one, enjoy. Use your imagination.
Yeah, no, and I mean, look, there's something to be said about, wow, I just bought this GI Joe Command Center, right? And it's missing a bunch of pieces. Now I get to hunt down pieces, you know.
Hmm.
I think there is something to be said for that thrill of trying to find the missing pieces and building it back up. But yeah, I don't know, because I sit there, I'm like, oh, if I went 3 3/4, I could put the headquarters up there, the Terradrome, and I could have several vehicles on the shelf, but I don't know. I don't think I'd be as happy. You know, I do like these classified figures. I just need to slow down and stop buying every single one.
Yeah, like, yeah, you can't see it, but on the lower shelves here are my classified stuff, and like it's crammed in there. But I've got the Stinger, the ATV, and the Troublemaker all crammed into one shelf. Like it's just, you know, not even the figures.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, tying it all back to the beginning would be whole this, space is a commodity that we definitely need to take into consideration with our collections. And with something like this Metroplex, or anything that's coming out, whether it's the Cat's Lair that's out now, or the continuation of the Has Labs and the GI Joe 6-inch figures and their vehicles, at what point do we say I'm done? Not because I want to be, because I think there's always going to be pieces that we want, or always pieces that we like, but I'm done because I'm out of space. I have nowhere else to put
Mhm.
this. Or if I get this, then everything up here, like this whole top shelf, well, now I got to find another place for my Voltron stuff. Where's that going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or,
Uh,
it's really just when you see something that really strikes you, what are you sacrificing or dumping, or
yeah.
how do you make that space?
Hmm.
Like, this
Yeah.
is the must have.
Yeah. My first realization when I realized I was going down the wrong route for me was when I had the Zeta Superion, the Omega, the Fans Toys Omega, and the Toy World Devi all at the same time, and I saw just how much space those three took alone.
Hmm.
And at the time I was still, I was up to date on whatever Fans Toys, Decepticons were out, and the Fans Toys aerial bots. All right, and I'm like, what am I doing? I want all the combiners like that. Like for me, Transformers is I want my Dinobots, I want my combiners, I want my Omega, my Optimus, my Megatron. Like I could narrow it down, but the combiners were a big draw for me,
Hmm.
and so that's when I went to Legends
Yeah.
just to save the space. I have one, two, three, four Legends on one belly four combiners, well, three combiners and on Omega. But with my Dinobots, my Optimus, my Megatron, my Skyfire, and there's room for more bots on there. So that just takes up one shelf.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at right here, right, that's
Hmm.
3 combiners and all of the season 1 um, Decepticons. One shelf. Not crowded, not falling over one another, but a good group shot,
Yeah.
and my MP stuff takes up one whole case like that and flows over into another.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I like about the Legends is I feel like I can play with it, I can mess with it, and I don't feel like I'm gonna break it. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't feel like I'm gonna have a stress mark on like the Minosaur. I've got the X Transbots Minosaur. That foot is being held together by one screw, right? So I can mess with this one and feel like I'm not going to break that. It's not going to snap. It's not going to give. Like, yeah, there's weight proportion to size, but it's not the same, you know.
I
And
I, I agree.
but I remember seeing. I think what did it though is it's the Dinobots. That the Dinobots got me into MP. Fell down that rabbit hole. Dinobots got me into Legends.
I do miss my Fans Toys Autobots though. Those
So
I do miss. I do miss. I sometimes I think I should have kept those.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wish Gigapower had finished their weathered ones, and God, I so wish they would. I've got the two. I've got the slag and the snarl. They're beautiful. They are beautiful, and they were were planning on doing the rest of them, and then they just shut down shop. So because when I reached out to them, they're like, "Yep, we'll do them. We're going to do them," and then they just faded into oblivion.
Yep.
So, but that's where we're at. I mean, you got space. At some point, you're gonna have to start cherry picking, and then you get stuff that's coming out like with the Super 7 stuff. It's definitely better than the previous things, but like, what you want to do with it?
Yeah. No, I agree. Um, I do think if any of these companies are listening, if you do plan on making something big, get it out as soon as you can because sooner or later people are going to run out of space and they're not going to be able to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening, Mattel, we want
Fair
that. I
statement.
want that Grayskull and that Snake Mountain. Let's get it together. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that or something like if you do like the Reaction Plus stuff, make it the significant ones. Make it the Whale. Make it the Defiant. Make it those things that are going to be. This is the.
Oh, if I was Super 7, I'd be doing a Defiant and a Flag. I'd
Yeah.
be trying to crowdfund both and seeing what happens.
Yeah. I think if they had done something else other than that Cobra mothership, I think they'd probably been successful in other things.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it is what it is. So, so that's where we were at tonight. We hope y'all kind of enjoyed the conversation. I hope it got you thinking about your collections. Where are you going to be? What are you going to have to sacrifice? Things like that. So, I think we all know where everyone's at. We're all in the realm. You can all find us here every other Friday for a show, and then in between Fridays for usually a broadcasted hangout. So unless anyone else has got anything good for the calls, one of y'all can hit the button and take us out.
No, yeah. Just stay tuned. There will be. I'll put up the unbroadcast to hangout link in a minute. So that's it.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
sounds good.
See y'all later.
Where's it? Where's the buttons? Where's the buttons? Where's the outro?
Yeah, they like to change it.
There we go.
Say it with me now. Really?